Welcome back, guys, to the PokeRadar podcast. I am Pokemon Radar. Been quite some time since I've done this, so uh, kind of be easy on me with what happens here today. But today I got a new guest, someone that I actually don't know much about at all, but he's got a pretty cool collection on Instagram here that I've been going through lately, and um, he seems pretty interested to talk about Pokemon, and I'm pretty interested in hearing his story. So today we have the Mega Evolution Guru. Hey, man.
Hello.
What's going on?
Oh, not much. Just hanging out. How you been, bud?
Good, real good. I just moved to a new apartment, so that's probably why I've got this newfound motivation to start my podcast again.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. So I got my own space, got my own setup back up and running, and I'm ready to get going. But how have you been through this quarantine? Have you been? I mean, now that it's kind of over, but still kind of in effect.
I've been doing decent. I took a voluntary leave from work because I'm in a comfortable position to where I didn't need to work for a couple months. People desperately needed 2 hours for bills, so it wasn't too bad. Got a couple months off of work. Had to keep me preoccupied. Pokemon cards, video games, all the like. So I've been doing all right.
Good.
How's it been for you?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, I'm sure you're collecting that nice unemployment as well. But no, I've been.
Oh, actually, I wasn't able to collect unemployment because it was a voluntary leave. I wasn't
Oh,
furloughed. I wasn't laid off, so I wasn't
oh,
qualified for any unemployment.
gotcha. Well, hats off to you. That's an honorable thing to do. Um, but yeah, for me, it's been good. I mean, I've been moving around, but still working, still buying and selling Pokemon, selling more than I
Hmm.
hoped because I was a little bit skeptical of the market with the whole coronavirus thing going. So I sold off quite a bit, but um,
I never had any doubts. Everybody was. I didn't think it would shoot up the way that it did, but the way that everyone was trying to say that it's going to plummet, this is going to destroy the market, things are going to crash. No,
yeah,
Pokemon is in large a childish-based hobby. It's made around kids. People that are going into it are still fairly childish half the time. Nobody wants to sell at a loss. They would rather hold on to it for 6 months than sell for a loss.
yeah, absolutely. I never thought it would crash, but I thought there'd be a good opportunity to be cash ready for some purchases, and obviously, as you said, people are just holding out, and prices just skyrocketed. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't predict what the government's going to do with giving people money, and I know a lot of people were making more money than they were while they were working. So there's a lot of cash being thrown around at the moment, and it's been good for all collectibles. It's been quite interesting. But let's talk about you a little bit. So, the Mega Evolution Guru. Who are
Mm-hmm.
you? Where did this name come from? What's your story?
All right, so my story and my name comes from the same vein that I started collecting in. So back when Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire came out, Primal Clash had dropped. And me and my girlfriend were playing the games again. We bought the 2DSs because they were cheap. It was a nice, easy way to get back into playing them instead of dropping like $200 or $300 on a new DS. So we were able to get the games and the devices a lot cheaper. So we were getting back into Pokemon. I'd been like an off and on fan every time they release a new gen. I've played every gen, and like there was always that dip of a couple years where they didn't release anything, and I'd fall back out. Um, but when Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire came out, my girlfriend saw Primal Clash in GameStop and was like, "Oh, hey, these got the primals on them. I know you're a really big fan of like Mega Evolutions and you love the primals, so let's go look at those." Bought a couple packs, had some fun with it. Shortly after that, because it was at the end of Primal Clash, Roaring Skies came out, and we had just done each like the Delta episode with Mega Rayquaza, and I know it's Rayquaza. I'm probably gonna get some hate for that. Girlfriend made me say Rayquaza. It's a thing.
I say Rayquaza too, so that's all
I,
right.
yeah. So she bought it packs a couple times. She bought some Roaring Skies, and I just didn't understand it.
Mm.
I was one of the people outside of the hobby, and I just didn't get it. And I was like, I don't know why you're buying these cards. It kind of feels like a waste of your money. And she goes, well, here, take this pack. It was Mega Rayquaza art. Just see what you get, see if you get anything good, and maybe you'll understand. So I opened up the one Mega Rayquaza pack art, and I pulled the Mega Ray full art out of Roaring Skies. And I
Not
was
the
like,
shaman.
all right. Not the Shaman, no, but the Rayquaza, the Mega
Okay.
Ray full art, and it
Yeah.
was, it's a gorgeous card, and it got me hooked. So I found some old top loaders from my younger days. I was actually bigger into Yu-Gi-Oh than I was Pokemon way back when I was a youngster. So I had some top loaders, put it in a couple of the old sleeves, put it in a like dollar store picture frame, and put it on my computer desk because I actually used to have a computer.
Okay.
And then that started it. And Facebook, thankfully, Facebook memories give me my exact start date was May 15th, 2015 was the day that I started collecting.
All right. Is this it here? We got a PSA 9. Did you grade
Yep,
it?
that is the one.
That is the
Yep,
actual. That's the
I
card you
graded it
pulled.
through trainer Tony, who kind of dragged me through the rails with that.
Okay.
Back when subs were like $10, $11 a card, he charged me $30 a card for the same turnaround. Said he barely made any money off of it, which was a load of
Oof.
horseshit.
Ouch. I don't know who
Yeah.
that is, but sounds like
Oh,
he's
he's gone now. He had some controversy where there was a one of his submissioners had accused him of swapping out their Umbreon stars because they sent in a big one, and then Tony said his personal one got a 10, but the one that they got back wasn't the one that he sent in. So then Tony called him a few slurs when he
mm,
tried getting it fixed, like
okay.
actual racial slurs, and then just kind of disappeared.
All right, good. Well, at least he's gone. I can't
Yeah,
stand that
he,
stuff.
he is the reason that I actually joined Instagram as well. Cause
Oh,
I'm sending him some cards because he was like the only other collector I was talking to outside of my friend Professor K with now the Evolutionaries Gaming. And he goes, "You seem to really be into sharing your cards. Why don't you join Instagram? That's basically what it is." So then I did, and my
hmm.
first post was my German Crystal Charizard Glue Rock
Okay.
back in like June 16th, 2017, I think it was.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, those Mega Evolutionary guys, they're pretty big on YouTube. They've got what, like a
Yeah,
100,000 some subs, and I remember catching their
120 or
videos.
30 or something like that.
Yeah, I remember catching their videos early on when I was diving through YouTube Pokemon openings and all that. Um,
Yeah,
that's
it
pretty
it
cool.
was shortly after I started collecting. I started watching some YouTube content. Like I saw a bit oddish or formerly Water and Grass. I watched his videos on him opening up Dragon Frontiers and pulling a Charizard Gold Star.
Mm,
And like that was maybe a month after I started collecting, so it didn't even resonate with me how big of an accomplishment that was.
yeah, yeah. No, that's how I started was with YouTube videos. That's what got me hooked because I just wanted to open stuff, and I still want to open stuff.
Hmm.
Um, so it's fun to have that to watch. But yeah, I see a lot of foreign cards from you. You mentioned your first post was a German Blue Rock,
Hmm.
and I see not just
Yep.
Japanese, but I see a little bit. What is this? Chinese, maybe some Korean. I thought I saw a little bit of everything.
I've had a little bit of everything. So I am not bothered by other languages. There is a lot of English collectors who say, I will only collect English. It's my language. It's what I can read. I don't care if I
Oh,
read
you're going a little robotic.
because the cards all look good as they are.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. You appreciate the art.
Can
You
you hear me?
you you went a little robotic in there, but I think I caught most of it. Yeah, I understand. I mean, I understand both sides. I'm definitely one of those that heavily prefers the English cards because it has that stronger nostalgic attachment to it. And yeah, I can read it all, even though I don't ever read the cards. I'm sure a lot of people don't ever read the cards, but yeah, you're appreciating the artwork and honestly a bargain, which is a phenomenal way to go about it.
Yeah. So, like, with personally, I just don't care about the language. Like you were saying, you're just appreciating the artwork. But sometimes cards are more rare or better released in other languages. Like for um,
Oh, I lost you.
And I'm a bit of a hollow snob, so like,
I'll just edit this out, so don't worry.
okay, I'm back. I moved into the Wi-Fi room.
All right, cool, cool. Yeah. So you
Okay, so to
were,
get back into the point,
yeah.
I was talking about how I don't really care about languages because sometimes in other languages the release is either more rare or better looking. Example for better looking would be the Espeon and Jolteon Gold Stars. In the play promos in Japanese, it's the only release where they're hollow. Other languages, they're also non-hollow.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But then, like with the Chinese Gold Stars, the Reggie Trio, they are seeded one out of every case, which is I think 12 boxes in a case. So they're a
For
lot
yeah,
harder for
for Japanese.
those Gold Stars. No, the Chinese, the EX Legend Maker Reggie Trio Gold Stars.
Yeah.
Those are only one out of every 12 boxes.
Oh.
So they're a lot harder to get. And boxes have like 24 or 26 packs, and you get 4 hollows and 1 ultra rare out of them.
Oh, dang.
So like they're a lot rarer of cards to get.
Okay.
So I actually did end up pulling Regice myself out of my first box.
I did see you had
That was something crazy.
you had a couple of those, I think, graded in Beckett cases.
Yep, because PSA doesn't grade besides English and Japanese past base set.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I remember.
So it was
I think I opened up a bunch of those Legend Maker Chinese packs with Swolpoke while we were waiting for Fukuda. They were definitely weighed. I don't think we pulled anything. I don't think we pulled a single
you
hollow.
don't want to buy those loose packs.
But they were like $1 or $2 a piece or something. And we were bored. So
okay, that's not that bad. So that's a bit easier.
Yeah. Oh, well, here it is right here. 10 centering, 10 surface, 9 on the corners. Ouch. And a 9.5 on the edges. But still, a beautiful gem mint.
Yeah, and that was so me, Reggie Gigagod, Joe, one of his hometown friends, Joey. Joe had gotten in contact with Nikki Jin on Instagram, who had he bought 15 boxes, opened 10, didn't pull a gold star, and he was going to sell the other 5. So Joe was like, I'm going back to my hometown, going to meet up with my buddy. Why don't you grab a box? Come with me. We'll go open them all. So I bought one of the boxes for myself as a 21st birthday gift to myself. The 1 week after my birthday is when we met up, opened the box, and got my gold star. So that was the first gold star I'd ever opened, and it's also one of the hardest ones to open. So that was a great moment.
I haven't opened too much of Nintendo stuff, so I've never pulled a gold star myself, or even like I've never even pulled a shining from the Neo sets. I really just open up the early stuff, but and now my opening days are over because things are way too expensive to open. But it's kind of cool. You seem to focus a lot on kind of the, at least from your Instagram here, just the big set cards, either both modern and vintage. You're not showing off too much of other random things, but mostly full arts. Mostly.
I don't have very many other random promos because, like, I started off during the middle of X and Y, so a lot of my promos were from products that I was buying.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple other Japanese promos, mainly from the L-P series. Like I know I've got the what is it, like a bento box, something like that. I've got the Indigo Plateau. I've got the first place Pikachu medal. I've got the Master Scroll, which is the second one that I've owned.
That one. Okay, you have 2. I was gonna say, did you?
Well, no. So I don't have the. I had the 9.
Okay.
So I bought that 9 from Hammy64, Hammy Fresh, basically Hammy. I bought the 9 from him. I had it for at least 6 months. And then I got a message from somebody who sent me Gezi TCG. He's a really big Yu-Gi-Oh guy.
Yeah.
They sent me his post selling another PSA 5 based at Charizard when I already had one. And I was like, this one is very clean comparatively. The hollow, and I've still got it. It is honestly the cleanest WotC hollow I have ever seen in person. Not a single scratch in it.
PSA 5?
For a PSA 5. Uh-huh. It's got a little chew on the bottom, like a little lip.
Yeah.
It's my 276 cert one. If you zoom in on the bottom border, you'll see it. If not for that chewed part, it would have been a 9 all day of the week. Good, it is still a 5, but it's got the immediate visual appeal of a 9 to me. and that's part of why I buy the lower grades. You can find slight damage that brings it down a massive grade factor, but the visual appeal won't be too far off in a sense.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I was trying to sell my 9 Master Scroll for about 900. I had an offer for 750, had an offer for 800, but I needed 9. I needed 9 to buy the PSA 5 Zard.
When was
So I
this?
tried eBay. This was in April of 2018.
Wow, $900. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And
now.
I was struggling to get 900.
That's like a $7,000 cart now.
Uh-huh. I was going to get into that too. But so I listed that 9 on eBay. I went to bed, woke up to a message saying, you have it not listed for international. I'm over in Canada. If you can accept international shipping, I'll make a $1,200 offer.
Oh.
So at the time, that was actually the highest public record of a Master Scroll.
Yeah.
Because 10s don't really sell that often. The other 9s were going under 1,000. This one went for 1,200, and that was April 2018.
Wow. I wonder if that was PFM.
I don't know. I don't think it was. I didn't recognize the eBay handle. But what's funny was my exact copy, because Hammy had gotten it recased, so it's an older cert, early 20 mil, that has the new PSA label. That one made its way into Thundermoo's hand. Thundermoo off of E4, and he recently just sold that. He doesn't want to disclose the seller, or not the seller, the buyer, but he sold it for 6K recently. Okay. Which is funny because I sold it for 12. He ends up selling that same copy for 6.
Right, not too long after.
So the way that I got my, sorry, you have a question?
No, you're 9.5, or is that what you're about to dive into? Because that thing is.
Yeah, I was about to dive into the story of the 9.5.
It's 0.5 away from a pristine.
It is.
Which is absurd.
So the way that I got that 9.5, the funny way that it started wasn't an intentional journey, but it started off of me selling an expensive item in Rocket League. Rocket League is like one of my favorite video games that I play. It's really high technical, really big learning curve, but it's a super fun game. And it has a cosmetic market, and these items are kind of akin to trophies in a sense that the way that you got the item that I sold was watching the professional streams back in the day. Right. One of the original, like they'll give you stream rewards on Twitch to put into your account.
Yeah.
So I sold one of those items for 315 PayPal.
Wow.
Bought a Black Label Super Dragon Ball Heroes Goku card.
Yeah.
That I ended up trading that for a pair of PSA 10 matching sequential cert Japanese Shining Gyarados and Magikarp. It's like the Gyarados and then the Magikarp for one cert number off. But like that was a fun little thing. I sold that to Churlocker, Mr. Charlie.
Yep.
Sold something else in Rocket League. I only figured that out because I checked my PayPal. I don't remember what I sold that time. Sold that to get a total of $1,000 in cash, and then traded my Japanese unlimited Crystal Charizard to my buddy Will in Japan, who I actually bought that Charizard from in the first place a couple years prior. So about 1,500 total trade value got me a raw Master Scroll.
Yep.
So it's crazy how like a little bit over a year later I had to buy a raw one for 300 more than I sold it.
Right. But you start with Rocket League skins and end up with a near pristine Master Scroll.
So yeah, and then I was debating on who I wanted to grade it with because I thought it would probably get a 9 at PSA because that centering is there.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I actually personally prefer Beckett cases anyway. They're just more sturdy. They just feel more protective.
Cards, yeah.
They just feel nicer. PSA cards are often really flimsy. Sometimes they don't get the seal right, and the card slides around in there, and that drives me insane.
Yep, same.
So I was like, you know what? I don't even care if it gets a Beckett 9. I don't even care if it gets a Beckett 7. I don't plan on selling this card. I just want it in the Beckett case because I think it's more visually appealing.
Have you ever sent it in for a review? Try to get
I
pristine?
have not, and to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to because that centering, it is pretty off. I've seen worse get a 9.5. I've seen better get a 9 as well. But I just know as soon as I sell it or as soon as I send it in to get that review, if it gets a pristine, it's gonna be more of an argument to sell.
I
Because
gotcha.
someone's gonna not want to pay. Like if because I don't plan to sell, but if I ever need to, because I almost had to for a car thing, which I can get into later, but it's just like it's gonna be more of an argument because it started as a 9.5, and if I come back and say, well, it's a pristine, you're gonna hear that whole SM Pratt thing. Well, it's only half of a pristine. It
Right.
only got the pristine the second time.
Right.
So, and
Yeah.
either way, I'm perfectly content with it being a triple 10 9.5.
Yeah.
It's right between a 9 and a 10, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah. It's a strong card regardless. So that's
And
pretty cool.
I just recently had an offer to sell it. Max Mofo, YouTuber Max Mofo, had messaged me
Really?
looking for some misprint cards, and then while he was scrolling through my feed, he saw the scroll, and he goes, "I kind of want to get one." And I'm like, "Well, I don't plan on selling, but you are talking about mine a lot. I always hear offers. My DMs are always open to hear an offer because you never know what offer is going to strike you right. You never know what you're feeling that day." So I will always listen to someone's offer, and he goes, "All right, if I'm giving you a realistic offer, I will put a serious offer of 8,000 on it."
Wow. When was this?
I uh 3 days ago.
So, wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, Max Mofo is actively looking for cards on Instagram, or do you have a
Yep.
relationship with this guy?
I
Has
have no. So he had messaged Rare Pokédex Collectibles and said he was looking for some error cards, and I had just stumbled across an Espeon that I have, and I'm not 100% certain on its authenticity.
mm,
It's basically it's like a missing ink layer Espeon,
mm-hmm.
but that could easily be achieved with acetone. And because it was the only one that I'd ever seen, after I bought it and looked at it in person, I was more convinced that it was inauthentic.
Okay.
So I went for a refund. The guy didn't give me everything. He's like, "Oh, I'll give you half and I'll pay the rest back later." And then he just ghosted me.
Mm-hmm.
So then from there, I went to the mods of that misprint group, which one of them is Reggie Giga God Joe, and he said, "Dude, look, if you're just trying to get your money back, it's like you've shown me the whole conversation. Just look to resell it. Like you'll be fine if you want to make your money back." So then the day he told me to resell it, I saw on Instagram cardhouse.eu has a first edition Espeon, sorry, that is incredibly similar to the one that I have.
Hmm. Is there a
So
picture of
there's
it?
a couple. Yeah, I can send it. I can forward it to you.
Yeah.
Do you want mine or his
Uh,
or both?
both.
All right. So I'm gonna start off with card houses. I'm sending that to you right now, and then I'll DM you mine. But the things that I'm still unconvinced with mine, it has a fingerprint on it.
Okay.
Like in the hollow foil, there's like a looks like a paint smudge fingerprint,
You can't get it
which is
out.
just I I've tried lightly wiping at it. I don't want to go too rough on it. Let me find the fingerprint picture as well. But from like trying to get rid of it, no, I couldn't do that lightly.
Okay.
But when I looked at it the second time and I started trying to sell it, there's more. So like the part that made me think it was acetone was inside the foil where the ripples are. It's a near blank foil. Like when you strip away with acetone, the ink even in the background gets wiped away, and it's near completely flat, reflective, no ink. But when I looked at it again, there's a bit more of it than I initially thought. So I'm like 70-30, I'd say, in it being a legitimate misprint versus being acetoned. The second copy being out there is really helpful in thinking that it's legit.
I've never acetone a card. Have you?
I've never personally, but I have purchased a custom card that
Right.
was like I was a modern card, a modern galactic foil that was acetone cleaned and then compression etched in a design.
I'm just trying to think if this would be like the early stages of that, of when you first,
I so
because that to me
I've
doesn't look like what would happen.
it's it's weird. So like you see how on my copy there's blotches on Espeon and both copies there's like rough patches of it's kind of like a light fog is the best way to describe it,
Yeah.
like in the outside border. The way that we determined that would probably happen is lightly dabbing with like a cotton ball,
Mm-hmm.
but we haven't personally attempted it because it's kind of difficult because once you confirm it's possible that way, it also leaves the door to more people doing it.
Right.
So the way that I was doing it was like, if I'm going to sell it, I'm going to be 100% transparent with my buyer that I don't know if this is real.
Mm-hmm.
But why did I start talking? Oh, okay. So when Polkadust got a message from Max Mofo, I said I've got a couple misprints besides his Espeon, but have him message me. I'll show him what I got. We'll talk about it. So then he did. He Max Mofo messaged me. I talked about a couple of my miscuts. I showed him the Espeon. I showed him a no texture Primal Groudon from Agent Origins that I just sold to Charlie Herlocker
Mm-hmm.
because he's like, yeah, it's one I don't have. I want it. So he did that. But I showed him a bunch of those. And then while we were talking about my misprints, he was scrolling through my feed, saw the scroll. He's like, it's a gorgeous trophy. I kind of want one. I was like, go ahead, just make me an offer. If I say no, it's probably likely, but every offer I will always hear. And then he just did. He's like, fine, you've convinced me. I'll offer you 8 as a serious offer. And I was like, okay, thought about it. I turned it down because I'm not in the need for that kind of money right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know as soon as I sell it, I'll never own it again.
Right. That's how I am with the Trophy King.
It's just getting, yeah, it's just getting too crazy.
Yeah.
Because in another year, a 9 could go for 13. It could go for 15. I don't see that being unrealistic when just 1 year ago I bought it raw for 1,500 and now I just got offered 8,000 for the 9.5.
Right. And honestly, you should probably get closer to 10 today.
Yeah, at this point, I could see myself getting 10
on
too.
Mm-hmm.
But
no need.
but then you've got a couple people. I won't name drop just to not be like giving them hate, but there are plenty of people who are like, well, it's a 9.5, meaning it's a PSA 9. It should get a PSA 9 price.
Well,
but that's not how the half grades work.
They don't own it, so.
Yeah. I think it's partly trolling because it's something that I'm super proud of, and
they're just jealous.
One of the guys is. I don't think it's jealousy. I don't think he cares. I just think he's a career troll because well, he is a career troll. I just think it's jealousy. I think he's just doing that.
Trolls are just balls of jealousy balled up into a human being.
I've personally never understood the career troll mentality because like I can get when you troll one person here and there, especially if like they're acting like a way to deserve it. But if you're just living your entire life being sarcastic and an asshole for fun, that I don't know.
Yeah, it's a sad thing to go through. But back to Pokemon. So this I was also looking through. I saw that you have a Master Key as well.
No, I don't actually have Master Key.
Okay.
The one that I shared in the binder, that was from the Hartford Collectors Convention. That was in the Pokemon Museum that a couple of them put together.
Right, of course.
So like Charlie put in his trophies, Gemmint put in his PSA 10 Charizard, TCA put in his first edition box, which actually is the one that he later found out was
Yeah, he said he got an offer of what, $80K for it at the convention too, and turned it down.
I didn't actually hear that.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd ever met and talked to TCA. Was at the convention.
Okay. Yeah, I've chatted with him just through Instagram, but yeah, that's a crazy unfortunate event to have happened. But so that
I mean, yeah.
That scroll, is that like your the peak of your collection? I mean, you've got quite a few PSA 5 first edition Charizards in here. You've got some. I saw what the Camex computer error.
So that Camex is also not mine. It's a local friend who isn't as big into online personas.
Mm-hmm.
Like he buys some stuff for himself, and he bought that a while ago, like a lot cheaper. And then he
Okay.
was kind of looking at selling it, but he didn't really have the reach to get to the right people
Right.
because it's not only high end, like as far as price, like it's over a four-figure card. It's also a bit more of a niche one because it's a
Extremely
glossy
niche.
Koro. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I advertised it for him to see if I'd be able to get any interest for him.
Yeah. I've been looking to buy one, but I keep getting convinced not to because of how subtle the difference is between the actual or like the mass produced one and this one with the little white versus red R, and it's just it's not that very appealing of a card. But
And I'm like I said, I'm also a hollow snob. So
yeah.
like I don't even like the other releases of Espeon and Umbreon Star because they're non-hollow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in that same boat with you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't personally pay for it, but I got no problem trying to help a friend get some money off of it.
Right. And that's a conversation I've had about the University Magikarp versus the Trophy Kangaskhan, where at one point before I sold mine, they were on nearly the same level of price. And
Mm.
I always felt that because the Trophy Kangaskhan was holographic, that it had a much higher potential. And also, we think there's fewer releases, but um, and then we found that out as soon as I sold mine that it would be worth a lot more because I think a PSA 9 Unicarp just sold on PWCC last night for 17,000, 19,000, one of those two.
Yeah, but there was this PSA 7 Trophy Kang that sold for like 24 on
27.
eBay.
Yeah, that was mine. 27.
That one was yours. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So that set records, and that just blew up the Kangaskhan even more. So yeah, that set it apart quite a bit, I think. But yeah, before that, there was kind of this feeling that they were pretty close to each other. So
I mean, if the Unicarp had hollow, I feel like it would crush
oh,
Trophy Kang.
possibly, yes, yes,
I
absolutely.
just think it's a cooler design because like Magikarp's doing something. He's using like an ice beam or something.
Right, right. But there is also a couple reprints of that, or reused,
That's true. That is
and
true.
I think that's the only
There's like an E
Kangaskhan in that.
Series one.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's three of them. I'm correct. I don't know too much about trophy cards. I just try to find value where I can with these things because they're hard to find.
I like trophy cards. A lot of them are really out of reach for me, but
Mhm.
there are some trophies that look arguably as good as a lot of them that are much cheaper.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones I got recently was the Battle Tower. It is by all means the Pokemon participation trophy because literally everyone that participated in its event got that card. There was the Dragonite, like it was the gym leader. It actually might have been Lance's Dragonite that
No, it's not. I just bought
was the
one.
actual trophy.
It was it Lance's Dragon? I thought it was someone else's Dragonite.
I honestly can't remember
'Cause
because
I
it's for
literally
me.
I just bought one because I thought it looked cool, and then there was like none on eBay. I was like, oh, this is probably a good purchase. So,
The thing that I don't like about that Dragonite and other trophy version of some cards is that there are it's just basically another Pokemon card. It's a Pokemon card in a set with a higher release that makes it more expensive. And that's kind of hypocritical because Battle Tower is in the same vein where it's like an uncommon in one of the sets that got a trophy release, but you don't see that getting special treatment. Like there's not that many Battle Towers. There's a lot of Dragonites.
yeah, yeah. I like these. Like, I mean, this is comparable to like the Burn Tower and or the other ones you mentioned earlier. Those arts being holographic are beautiful.
Yeah, and I also really like those ones like the Indigo Plateau or the Burn Tower where its focus is on the structure or a non-Pokemon thing with Pokemon cameoed. Like there's an uncommon in Legend Maker. It's like Field Researcher, I think, that has Mew hanging out in the background in a tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's a gorgeous card. But I just like the trophies that are not focused on a Pokemon.
Okay. Yeah, it's something different. I like. Yeah, that's a.
That being said, I also do love the lottery promo trophy Charizard. So I don't know. I guess I'm a hypocrite.
We all are. We always find something new to enjoy. But yeah, I think that Master Scroll. I've never really looked at this card. I don't own one myself, but I really want one now that I keep looking at it on your page.
So
So,
if you want to see it in real time, when I first bought mine, I had no idea what it was, and there wasn't that much available info on it.
hmm
So I spent a lot of time going through and trying to find more info on its release. And I found this one old forum that was more focusing on the Raichu Prime in the Daisuke series,
hmm
which they translated to Great Raichu, which is like, it's a weird synonym translation, like prime meaning you're in its prime versus something being great. It's a weird synonym mispronunciation. And like when the scroll was referred to in that forum, they called it the master's document instead of scroll.
mm
So I
Doesn't
made my
roll off the
own
tongue.
video on YouTube. It doesn't roll off the tongue, no. But it's one of those things that's like you can understand where those words were chosen in translation. I thought
Yeah.
that was an interesting thing. But I made a video talking about what I had found in the release of the card. It's a really poorly produced video, but at the same time of me talking about the card, I basically just kept showing the Master Scroll, putting it in different lights, moving it around so you can see the sparkle.
Oh
Because
wow. I'm looking at it now.
it's got that flat galactic foil in the scroll, but it also has the micro sparkle overlay that the Japanese Neo 3 Shinings have, the
Yeah.
Japanese crystals have. It's like an extra layer of foil.
Yeah.
Nothing does this card justice besides seeing it in person.
Yeah.
It is
It looks like a fake
honestly one
card.
of my almost, but it's real, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it great.
Yeah.
It's one of my top trophy cards. Like it's up there with SSB Mewtwo and Illustrator for me. It's better than the Master Key. It's better than TMB. It's better than Trophy King, at least in my visual appeal opinion.
Yeah. I mean, from that hollow perspective, absolutely. But I've got too much attachment to the Pokemon, so I have to disagree with you there.
Oh,
You got to have a Pokemon.
disagreement.
You got to have a Pokemon on a Pokemon card to be at the top. But it's still a beautiful card. Is that how the key is as well? Is it similar to that? Do you know?
So I have seen the key in person at the event. I didn't get to move it around because it was in a protective case. Understandably, it's a easy 5-figure card. Um, it's more of a normal
Okay.
hollow. It's still got the hollow border. It's got a Celebi hidden in the background ink, but it's a lot closer to a regular galactic foil where you have the key as the centerpiece and then the foil is like moved around it.
Okay. Gotcha.
And if I'm a little off or if I'm completely talking out of my ass, I'm sure Master Key owners will let me know. It's just
Absolutely.
that's what I remember when I saw it
Yeah.
was it was more traditional hollow style instead of
Okay.
extra.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, from talking to you, it seems like you're pretty much a hardcore collector here. You don't seem to sell too much, or um, I guess
Most of the time, if I'm selling, the only reason is because I want extra money to buy a card that I don't want to only spend out of pocket.
right.
Because like, so between the Master Scroll, and all three of my first edition Charizards, my total investment buying each of them was about 4 to 5 thousand.
hmm
But my out of pocket expense, what I had to pay out of my bank account, was a collective $500.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So like the only time I sell is to buy more cards.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually I just bought another pretty big card that I'm going to be keeping a little secret until I can
Mm.
post it. I'll show you as long as you don't tell anyone else
I
for the time
I
being.
promise I will not tell anyone, and I won't put it up
I'll give you a
on
sneak
the
peek
screen
and
either.
we'll hear your reaction.
All right. Let me Instagram DM here.
Uh-huh.
Take a look. Ooh.
You see
Wow.
what's different about it, right?
Oh yeah. I wonder.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say this, but I wonder. You know what I wonder? What is that? At the bottom.
I don't think it's possible to tell.
Right.
I can confirm without revealing what it is or who owns it, there is another one out there that is more severe than this one.
So you can take a wild guess at what it is by knowing what that card is.
I mean,
Or
yes and no,
okay.
because this card's pair, if you get what I'm trying to say, I have seen two different ones of those as well with completely different other things on the bottom.
Gotcha. Well, that's pretty awesome.
That yeah, I'm stoked. The other owner might reveal same time as me, where we might try to break the internet that way.
Okay. Yeah. I think pretty sure I've seen that card posted not too long ago
Yeah,
in Discord
yeah. It was out
or
there.
E4. Yeah.
I was talking with the guy, trying to. I was working with him for a couple weeks,
Okay.
so
Yeah, that's never been
spent more than I
my,
wanted to.
but it's one of two, so probably gonna be
Well,
worth it.
okay, so these are different levels of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other one I know is more extreme.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it was two different runs that created them. So there's
Gotcha.
definitely more out there, but it's finding them.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's that part of the market I've never been personally interested in myself. So I don't own too many, but or really any at all. Um, those types of
This is
cards.
definitely the most I've ever spent by a landslide on one of this category, we'll say.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know it's pretty niche market, but a pretty expensive market. So
Yeah.
congratulations. That'll be a nice addition to your
Oh,
collection.
it's gonna take a while to get, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be a staple.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's that's pretty cool. Um so yeah, I mean, I I finally kind of hit that point now where since I've sold so much, flipped so much, regret selling so much, um and I'm finally trying to figure out my placing in the collecting world because I've got some money now because I set myself up a little bit financially with selling all this stuff and that Trophy King is gone and all that. So now I'm at a point where I finally feel comfortable that I can afford to collect. I know everyone can kind of afford to collect if you budget properly and do all that,
Hmm.
but I like to move fast. I'm very competitive, so I've always just been trying to build, 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 build. Even though looking back, it's going to be extremely tough to like see what I used to have and
Recoup
not.
some of the cards that you once owned.
Right, it'll be impossible at this point with all the boxes that I've
Did you
touched
sell
and
that pack pulled Charizard?
yeah. So
Oh no, that I
that's
couldn't do that.
no. Well, it was jointly owned,
Oh,
and
you and Swole both bought the packs and like you both own
we
that?
both split it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that I that pushed me over the edge to sell it. But I mean, we talked it through a lot, and it just made sense to sell it. So
I mean,
um,
to me, I would have just bought the share
yeah,
from
that
Swole because
he
like
and that was offered, and I mean, the funny thing is like it was the easiest transaction to that I could have made to make that happen, and I just didn't do it. I don't know why, and I just ended
I'm a
up.
bit more sentimental of a person because like
Oh
the
yeah,
fact that because it was like you are the one that did open that pack. It may have been a
right.
joint venture, but you opened that pack. So like the fact that if it was in my shoes, I personally opened that Charizard. I wouldn't be able to let it go unless I completely quit the hobby. And even then, I have a couple cards that when I quit, I'm keeping 100%.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was definitely super tough, and I think about it a lot. But I've got that video, I've got that experience that can't be taken away from me. So I'm
That
okay
is
with that.
true. I wish I recorded my Reg Eyes
Okay, yeah.
because it's not nowhere near the same level, but it was always a goal to open up a gold star. But when I started, EX packs were like $20 or $30 a pack. Skyridge was 40,
Hmm.
which you hear now and you're like, I would buy so many at $40 for Skyridge.
Of course.
But that's also when like the most expensive car like Charizard's in the same condition range of like a 5. We're like $300.
Yeah.
And just 2 weeks ago, I turned down 3,500 for one of mine. So like
Yeah.
$300 was a lot of money for me to spend back then. So
I
thinking $30 for a pack, I probably won't get anything out of. I could
hmm
never.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. I had a PSA 7 Charizard that I paid 2 grand for, paid market price for it at the time, and it literally
Hmm.
sat at that price, if not possibly lowered a little bit, for
Oh
like
yeah,
a
sevens
solid
were
year, year and a half.
18 to 22 for pretty much as long as I had my first two.
Yeah,
They
and then
sat for a long time. Yeah.
just instantly, like once this happened, they're selling. I've seen offers of like 6, 7 grand.
Hmm. Yep.
It's unbelievable. I mean, of course, again, I always tell myself everything that I've sold, I sold to buy something else. Um, I can't say that for the recent King. See, that's the thing. If I never sold that Charizard, I would not have owned the Kangaskhan.
Okay.
I
So yeah,
I
that
needed
and
I needed
that's
that
one of those
money.
things.
Yeah. Now, when I sold it though, I didn't have that in mind that I was going to actually buy that card. It was it was on the back burner, but it took a while for me to actually buy that card. So, but I did at the
Yeah,
time.
but
I needed
like
that money to do that transaction.
yeah, and like that is kind of the same boat of me with the Master Scroll. I didn't sell that item in Rocket League with the mindset of this is going to get me the Master Scroll
Yeah.
because I bought the Black Label Goku and held on to that for like 2 or 3 months before I decided to start trying to get the scroll. But it was the catalyst
Hmm.
that got me there, and
Right.
so I guess it would be the same thing for you.
Right. Exactly. And then I ended up selling the Kangaskhan, so here I am with no cards that I should have kept at least.
I mean, hey, you could try to track down that one and buy it back.
The guy
You,
resold it for twice what 2 weeks
oh,
after I sold it to
jeez.
him, twice the amount
Well,
because
then why don't you
I
just
sold
go
it
buy
before
a
the boom.
different one?
Yeah. No, I have one more heavy pack left that was
Is
from
it
a
from the
different
same
box.
box?
Nope, different box.
Oh,
And
okay.
we know that so far as Zapdos, Raichu, Ninetales, and Clefairy have been pulled.
So
The
you've got a decent amount of possibilities.
Right. I mean, you got the big five price wise still available. Um,
It's not unlikely to have a double hollow though. I'm pretty sure there's been a couple
oh,
double hollow boxes haven't there.
Rev opened up a triple Polyrath box. Triple Polyrath.
That's
That
murder.
sucks. Yeah. Um, but there's also been the triple Charizard box from Gary, so you never know. But yeah, this box. I mean, I look at it from those odds that we've knocked out 4 of the mid tier, maybe even low tier hollows, and there's still the Venusaur, Blastoise, Charizard, Hitmonchan, Chansey available. Um,
Do you have any guesses? Like, obviously you wanted to be Charizard.
yeah.
Recently I had a heavy unlimited Spanish base set pack that I opened.
Hmm.
I wanted it to be Charizard. I felt like it was going to be Raichu. I pulled Venusaur. What do you feel like it's going to be?
Well, it's the Venusaur pack art, which every time I open a Venusaur pack art, I pull a Charizard. It happened with the first edition. It's happened with Unlimited, like a lot. So to me, I have a feeling that there's a Charizard in there. I think I'm gonna go 2 for 2 this year
Wasn't
if
the
I open
one
it.
that the Leonhardt opened? Wasn't that a Charizard pack art?
Yes, it was.
Do you want to talk about that, or is that a little too controversial to talk about?
No, I actually called him the day he did it or posted the video. I was like, "Congratulations, you took my crown away from me, but but welcome to the club." And because for a while I was the reigning last first edition Charizard pack
Yeah,
puller,
yeah.
which was kind of cool. And yeah, he was all pumped up about it. It was great. But yeah, we saw recently that it's been lost in the mail, which uh, I talked to him about it. I he did, insure it properly, from what I believe, doing registered mail, and it takes a while sometimes because it goes under lock and key each place it goes to.
Where did he send it? Because I don't follow Leonhardt. It just came
So
across my
he
feed. I
he
didn't
lives in
actually know that he lost it.
yeah he lives in Texas, and he sent it to PSA, Newport Beach.
In LA.
Yeah.
Or
Um,
well, California.
right, right. So I mean, it's well past the amount of time to not worry. So it's pretty. A lot of
It's
people
just
have
gone.
been. Yeah, I don't know if his name was on it and somebody recognized it in the postal service. and took it for themselves, or what happened. Maybe it is actually just on the wrong truck and it'll get turned around eventually. But that's like
I mean,
the most painful thing that could have ever happened.
if it's real, yeah. But I've also heard a lot of people saying like the entire situation was faked, and that's
Oh,
not me confirming it. I've had a lot of people, because I've talked to a couple of people about it, and like they've expressed to me that they thought someone either gave him the Zard weight, like someone figured out how much Zard specifically weighs, which to me
that's
that's a bit far
impossible.
fetched.
That's impossible.
That's really far fetched. But then I was just talking with someone a day or two ago who he thinks that it was just a faked pack and not like he didn't think that it was a real pack opening. He thought it was staged.
Yeah, people
He
said that
said that the
about
energy,
mine and
because
Swolpokes too.
they said that the energies were out of order in his pack, which I'm like, I don't.
No, that's how.
I'm
See,
not.
that's
I'll be transparent. I'm not a Leonhardt fan, but like, if you're gonna accuse someone of faking something like this, should at least have someone close to the situation confirming it over speculation.
well. I've had the exact same accusations with my video with Swolpoke. And the thing is, what people don't know is that Shadowless and First Edition base set packs, all of them have the energies in different spots. They might be in the same spots for those two sets, but you know how the unlimited it's two energies then
It's
the
like a
hollow.
consistent, yeah.
That's good.
It's like how it's kind
So
of like in placement with uncommons where they just get placed randomly in that section.
right. So for First Edition and Shadowless, they're still consistent, but they're in different spots than the unlimited. They're like I think it's the energy is. I think there's two commons before the hollow energy, common, energy, common, something like that. Um,
instead of having the two energies with the uncommons like in unlimited.
right, right, and that's how they all
Okay.
are for Shadowless and First Edition. So that's something that the people that haven't been able to open those, that's something they should know. I mean, you could just go watch TCA's First Edition base set box opening from like 7 years ago, and every single pack same. It's the energies are in different spots. It's how they were. So I mean, I have no reason to think that Leonhardt's video is fake. He's you've seen the stuff he's bought recently. He's been spending a lot of money on things. So
I actually haven't. Like I said, I'm not a
oh right,
Leonhardt fan. I don't follow him.
right.
I
Well, he's
there's
got some
other
good
things
stuff.
that I could bring up, but I feel like I shouldn't, so I won't.
Yeah. And to touch on that whole someone figured out the weight of what a Charizard is, that's completely
Yeah.
impossible. All the
Like,
card
to me-
stocks, you can't tell what ink level is on each specific card because there's so many different cards.
Especially not with how early this set is. This was really experimental for WotC with Pokemon.
Right.
They could have been changing they changed stamp thickness.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for any set. I
So-
mean, maybe Shinings in the Neo sets. Maybe if you have like a insane
But
scale.
even then, like I've seen double stamped shinings and light stamped shinings.
Right. Yeah. So it's that
So
whole theory.
I wasn't
is,
saying, yeah, I wasn't saying those theories to necessarily confirm them. It's just like that's something that I've personally heard, and
yeah, Leonhardt
we
actually
talked about it. And
I talked about that. Yeah, he said it in his video. I talked to him about that too. That whoever sold him those first few heavy packs told him that, I think, and he believed them, which I told him don't believe that. That's the most ridiculous thing
told
I've ever
him
heard.
what?
That the pack that was sold to him matches up with the weight with a Chansey or a Charizard.
Did he publicly state the weight of his pack?
No.
Okay. I mean, what I would see if the seller was involved is him narrowing down where the Charizard is and then sending those specific to Leonhardt. But that's even more tinfoil hatty than.
Yeah, that's not possible either. I
'Cause
mean, it's
I don't know.
even if someone did
I
open
don't
a
personally
box.
buy into it.
Yeah, even if someone bought a box, opened 11 packs, didn't pull a Charizard, you can't guarantee that 12 heavy pack has a Charizard, even though there's probably a pretty good chance. But
It could get a third Poliwrath.
exactly, exactly. So that's, yeah. I don't know about that. I mean, the Charizard getting lost seems a bit ridiculous, but it's just so unfortunate. I can't imagine what that feels like.
What I don't understand is he is personally driven to Beckett before to review his cards with a grader when he
Right.
had a grand party and something else.
Yeah.
I get that PSA is the backbone of Pokemon graded in general.
Hmm.
Even though it's not as definitive for other hobbies, it is for Pokemon. Why wouldn't you, like, with that card, you have the means. He's got the money to also drop it off in person with PSA.
Right.
Why ship it?
Right. And yeah, the whole going to PSA first of all is, to me, for that card is ridiculous. There's been public offers for a pristine 10 of over $150,000 for a black label.
How long ago?
Uh, this was back when I opened mine, so like February.
Oh, so even
So
back when
so now it's
the market wasn't as huge as it was now.
right. So I wouldn't doubt one of those getting 200 to 250. And then getting the first black label on that's the first $1 million Pokemon card, easy.
I don't
So
know if I'd say a million because I could easily see 500.
maybe not the
But
first
I feel
sale.
like
Yeah, maybe not the first sale, but quickly it would be
no,
the
like
first
I
$1
think
million
like I
card.
think it would be kind of like the Pristine in February 19, where it broke a record for English and sold, what was it, 55, 52? What did Gary pay for it?
The first one was mid 50s. The second one was like 80 something.
He paid. He already had the Pristine though when that one went up on eBay in February. It went to 80. I thought it only went to like 60
No,
at
no, no.
highest.
Yeah, no. That first one that he bought, because there's only two, right?
Yeah, and so
He bought the
one
first one on
went up
eBay
for
for,
sale in February of 19.
yeah, he got that
Didn't that
for
go for like
50s.
55?
Yeah, he got that for 55, and then
But that was the second one. He already
no,
had the first one. Because
no,
he bought that on Pawn Stars.
no. The second one he got through a deal with Leonhardt because the guy owned it in Texas.
Really? Am I
Hmm.
just that wrong?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
I could have. Hold on. I
Because
could have sworn that was the second
when
one.
when he
Anyway.
was on Pawn Stars, he only had one.
Yeah, but he went on Pawn Stars a couple of years ago, like before February 19. A
Was that?
couple, I mean like a good handful.
Are you sure that's when the eBay sale was? I don't remember when the eBay sale was.
Yeah, because I remember it was after I had all three of mine.
Hmm.
Was it after? No, after I had two. Shit, hold on. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure there's still only two. But yeah, that card is now. There's been a public offer of 150, and that was before the whole boom. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I think that card could, if it was Black Label, could fetch $1 million. Because like
Okay, so this one is August 28th. Sells for 55. On Charizard. PGS February 20. I know it was February 2019 where the second one sold.
maybe did Gary sell it?
No, Gary doesn't sell shit.
No, I think he did, and then he rebought it. That would make sense because I think he sold it and then rebought it. If that sale was in 2019, he had owned it for the Pawn Stars episode, and then I think he sold it, and then that guy sold it on eBay and he bought it.
I'm trying to find the article. I had to look up this article for a couple coworkers, but it wasn't that long. Am I just this crazy that I can't remember how long
No, I'm pretty
things have
sure. I'm
happened?
pretty sure he graded it, sold it, rebought it. I need to
Oh,
have.
you know what? I might be getting things mixed up because I was going in 2019. I think I may be mixing up the illustrator that I was looking up and not the
Oh,
Pristine. So I could be just completely talking about
then
my
maybe
ass.
not. All right.
I don't know.
I gotta have Gary on the podcast. I'll talk about him. Talk to that. Talk to him
Well,
about
that'll
that.
be fun.
But yeah, that doesn't make sense why you would go to PSA. I'm sure people were just like pressuring him into sending it there because, like you said, it's the backbone of Pokemon grading. It has that financial guarantee. It has um, solidified value to it. But I didn't for a second consider sending mine to PSA because I was just gunning for that Beckett pristine.
And
It's
even then, like we discussed, the Becca cases are just nicer.
right, yeah,
They're
I
just
like how
straight up
they,
better.
yeah, the way they put them in there is so much more secure because they lock them in there with like they put it in like a sleeve and then into the case.
Yeah,
PSA doesn't do that.
they put it in a sleeve and then the case, and those cases are at least twice the thickness of
Hmm.
PSA cases.
Yeah. Now Beckett doesn't have that financial guarantee backing that PSA does, so that's a
Which I
big.
think is stupid.
Yeah, I mean it's a headache. I've never done it personally, but it's a headache to go through that process with them, and the value that they put on it rarely ever matches what it's supposed to. So, does it really mean much to me? No, especially on the high end cards. That's why I'm always going for
Well, I'm also
Beckett.
talking like on the resale, because like if you have like a Beckett 9 or a Beckett 9 Plus, and the 9 Plus is like all four of your subgrades are at least a 9, with like maybe a 9.5, maybe a 10 in there. As long as all of your Beckett subgrades match the overall grade, I don't think there should be any argument that it should match the price of a PSA 9.
Right.
If you've
Um,
got like a 9 with two nines and then an 8.5 and a whatever else, that you could have a bit more discussion room.
yeah. Yeah. No, it's yeah, it's tough. I mean, people are so set in their ways with it. A lot of them don't even pay attention to those subgrades, but
But you
yeah,
should, because they matter.
they do. I like it a lot. I love the subgrades. That's another reason why I use Beckett for some stuff.
I also like the
Just
different color labels that they do.
yeah,
The silver and the gold, and then the black label. Everybody likes the black label. Black
yeah,
on gold is just classic, classy.
yeah. So, uh, yeah, because I just did a Lugia through them, and it got a 9.5. It had a 10 corners, 9 surface, and 9.5 on the other two.
Hmm.
Um,
I
but
think the biggest one for me and a lot of other people is surface. Who did I say? I think it was Poke Aaron,
oh
however you
yeah,
want to pronounce that.
yeah.
He mentioned recently that he likes scratches on his card more than whitening. And to me, that's crazy. I would
It's
take
harder to
edge
see.
whiting all day. I would take edge whiting all day over scratches. One, if you put it in a binder, you're not going to be looking at the edge whiting on the back.
Right.
Two, I'm a hollow snob. I want the hollow to be clean. I'll take damage other places. You give me that clean picture box
Well,
because
so
that's what I'm looking at.
my Lugia has two very faint print lines. That's why I got a 9 surface. And you have to look at it in the right lighting, especially being in the case now. You can barely find them.
With two lines, you got a 9 on the surface?
Yeah, Beckett is insane on their surface grading. They go nuts on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean from a binder condition standpoint, absolutely take edge whitening all day long because you don't see that, but when it's in a PSA slab or a Beckett slab, it's I between a 9.5 10 grade, a faint scratch much better than a corner neck to me because that thing is visible within a millisecond. That corner neck, the scratch or the print line, you have to
I guess
angle.
it just depends on how you value the overall appeal of the card.
Yeah,
Because, like I said, I'm buying fives where one of mine is a 5 because it is scratched to absolute shit. It was the first one I got. It was overall all edge wear. That one is my least favorite because my other two have much cleaner hollows because one of them has like a binder ring crease, which is very, very faint, and then the other one has that weird chewed lip on the bottom. But they've got much better looking hollows, and that's more important to me because I'm getting the better visual. I like the sparkle of the card. That's what
right.
attracts me to it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I get you. I feel that way about the binder cards, but yeah, when it comes to the 9, 10 grades and it has one little thing wrong with it, personally, yeah, I'd take that little scratch over the white mark on the back.
I guess I could see that if you're talking about like as a 10, like you have a 10, but it actually has a defect because they do happen.
Right.
Like you'd rather take a print line over the white corner neck that may be factory, but is still there. I could understand that argument more, but in the example that I was talking about, he was selling like low near mint range raw cards. So like binder condition cards.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. 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 That makes sense too. I agree with that. All right. What else? What else we got here? What are you buying? Are you what do you have your eye on now today? Are you buying stuff?
Oh, I mean, with the thing that I just showed you that I bought, I don't know if I've got my eye on anything else in particular. I'm at a very content place with my collection. I've got the personal trophies with the Charizards because those were always a goal I never thought I would do, and I've got three. I've got the literal trophy with the scroll. I've got a lot of cheaper things that I think are cool because like I just collect a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I've got a personal search for Pokemon. I know eventually I want to get a 1 through 10 set of Charizards, which is not original, but it's something
Unique.
that like I think
Still
would be
unique.
cool.
Do you? I mean, what do you do with modern stuff? Do you buy just to open for fun? Do you try to collect binder sets?
So I'm not a set collector because being the hollow snob that I am, I keep using that term because Pika's art collector just called that to me the other day in the comment section. I don't care about the commons and commons.
Okay.
I can appreciate the artwork, but I don't need them in my binder. And then there are certain cards that I like more than others because like in modern, I'm not the biggest fan of regular now V's or the past EXs or GXs. I like the
Right.
full arts.
Yeah.
I like the texture. So I do collect the ones that I like because I like them, and I buy modern packs because it's the experience of opening them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there are plenty of times where I'll just buy the singles, like the shiny Galarian Berserker. It's gold, it's textured, it's shiny, checks all the boxes. I went after pulling it, I didn't pull it. I pulled a couple other secret rares, so I just bought it. It's a $20 card. I got no problem paying that.
I've never seen that Pokemon in my life.
It's the Galarian Meowth. They gave him a different evolution besides
Oh,
Persian.
Persian. Okay.
I'll send it to you.
I'm looking at it now on your Instagram.
Oh, well, I
Um,
just sent you that post.
the well, I mean, I was opening up some evolution boxes recently, one yesterday actually,
Hmm.
and I love the reverse hollows. Like the Pikachu reverse hollow is so cool to me, and like just the rare reverse hollows is Zapdos, Chansey. Like
I'm
I don't know what it
I'm
was.
not gonna lie. I can't stand reverse hollows. They're
Really,
so boring to me.
really,
So like, okay, what I don't even like most modern hollows either.
right?
Black
No.
and white was okay with with the horizontal lines. X and Y was just flat reflective. Boring 20-year ago Yu-Gi-Oh regular rare style.
Mm-hmm.
Sun and Moon did the same thing, but then they just went into Photoshop and like warped it to make it wavy. Boring. Bring back main set galactic foils. Dude, I gotta tell you, during Sun and Moon, they had Duskmane Necrozma, Dahlwing Necrozma promo boxes, and they had jumbos of those GXs with full galactic foil. It was like an overlaying galactic foil where it went on top of the text, on top of the Pokemon, and it looks incredible. That gave me so much hope that Pokemon would do that for the actual main set ultra rares because it makes a world of a difference. But then it's still just in the promo, the like lane blisters and crap.
I
Give
wonder,
me set base galactic foils again.
I wonder if that's why I don't like the new stuff. Cause yeah, I hate. Yeah, I don't have
The
any
new
attraction
hollow
to new
foil,
hollows. Yeah, it's terrible.
I know it's there because they just don't pop. They don't look as cool.
I always thought it was just because they were underlooked from all the full arts and stuff.
I mean, that's part of it, but like I collect the promos
Hmm.
because they're galactic foil.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Let me go back. I'm trying to go back and find those jumbos. I'll show you
Well, I'm
just how
hoping
much
that
of a difference.
they do a similar XY evolution thing next year for their 25th anniversary, but for the Neo sets. So I'm hoping to see a Neo
That would be
Genesis
interesting.
reprint with full art Lugias, a full art T17.
I'm in it for the new amazing rares though.
What is
Because
that?
they're gonna there's okay. You haven't seen the amazing rares? Oh my
Dude, I
goodness.
don't. I've been
Let
looking.
me
Amazing. I just typed in amazing in Google. Amazing rares Pokemon.
Uh-huh.
Amazing rare Jirachi. Is that? Why is it colorful like that? Look at that thing.
I don't know. It's got like a rainbow pop effect, and
Oh,
that's supposed to be textured. When you
artsy.
zoom in on them, you can see
That
texture on it. Like they've
that
got a Zamazenta, a
Rayquaza, dude.
Zacian. Yeah, that Rayquaza is bomb.
I hope they're super rare, like one in a case or one in a
What I'm thinking
three
it's gonna be,
boxes.
it's gonna be a rarity of like the Prism Star or the Shining Legend Shinings, where it's kind of between a Hollow and a GX,
Yeah,
like one in every 2 or 3 packs.
that sucks. We were talking
That's
on
gonna suck for like
on
rarity, but
Discord about. I think it was. I don't know who brought it up. It might have been Pratt, but he said what they should do is put in shiny variations of every single Pokemon from that set, like 1 in 6 boxes or whatever correlation it is with the video game. It's like what 1 in 700 and something or whatever.
mm,
If they just put in random shiny variations of each of the Pokemon cards, but one in whatever
I
ratio that is,
I
that
think the problem with that is you end up. Oh, here's the post. I'll send it to you. You end up having way too many options at that point because like what they're doing now, that Galarian Berserker is shiny. It's the shiny variant. It's a shiny gold ultra rare, and they have 1 or 2 in a set.
no, but yeah,
So far,
it's the rarity value to it though. It's the 1 in 700
it's one
packs or
in
whatever.
it's 1 in 2 boxes as far as the pull rate, but they have a lot of secret rares. All the rainbow rares are secret rares. All the trainer rainbow rares are secret
Oh yeah,
rares.
good point. Okay,
So
I
like you
that
get
finally
maybe
hit me
one or
right.
two
Yeah,
secret rares in a box. You might get 2 rainbows and none of the gold. You might not even get the gold trainer
yeah,
items.
yeah. You're right.
So like having 1 or 2 shiny secret rares in the boxes, I am so happy to do that. They did that. When when Hidden Fates dropped, I was begging, bring back shiny golds. And they did it. I'm just waiting for a banger Pokemon for them to do it. Because right now, on like the Pokemons are cool that they're using, but the shinies are so drab. Like Frostmoth, his stays white with mint green instead of light blue. Berserker, his fur is mainly brown with a little bit of yellow. Colossal goes from black to very dark blue. Like, give me something extreme. And just because I'm a Charizard fan, give me another Charizard. Give me another shiny Charizard. Do it.
They'll never stop with the Charizards.
You know what? I don't care. I'm fine with it.
I just want the fat
I'm not.
Pikachu back. I want some
Well,
like
Dynamax. Just wait for
crazy
the
rare
Dynamax
Mew.
Pikachu. You'll
Oh,
have a fat Pika.
that's cheating. That's all the Gigantamax Pokemon are fat.
You want to know what's cheating is the fact that Ash's Pikachu just so happens to have the special genes to be a Gigantamax. Like this Pokemon that he found in Kanto just so happens to have these genes to make him a Gigantamax Pokemon. Come on. I know there was a lot of hate on the shiny Charizard GX because yet another Charizard, but honestly, I really dig the shiny GX.
I like that it was 1 in 300 packs basically to get it.
Dude, I don't want to talk about it. It took me on pack 379 to get one.
I got 2 in 15.
Shut up.
I did it live
Shut up.
live on Instagram.
I remember, and I DM'd you saying how much I hated you.
That was awesome.
You want to? Here is one of my big regrets in Pokemon. So when the ETBs dropped, I went out driving for about an hour. All my GameStops and Targets were out. I called my friend Ollie, and he went to Walmart. Where he went to the same Walmart to where when the tins dropped, he pulled his Charizard and he bought 5 ETBs. He opened up 2 of them and called me and said, "I just got my second Charizard in like 200 packs." And I'm like, man, damn. And he had 3 more ETBs, and that was exactly the number that I wanted to buy. And then I was sitting there thinking, do I ask to buy them off of him? Because he's got a second Charizard. Well, no, because he just pulled one. Those ones are very unlikely to have another Charizard, so I didn't ask. He starts opening up one while he's on the phone with me, and in that ETB, he pulls a Cynthia and another Charizard.
Wow.
And I asked him, if I asked you to buy them, would you have sold them to me? And he goes, yeah, because I would have thought these would have been a waste. I wouldn't have thought there'd be another one. I would have sold them to you, no problem.
That's funny. They were just.
So,
He probably didn't
oh,
get
it's
any of
real
the
funny.
Glaceons or he didn't get any Umbreons or Glaceons or anything. So
Well, after those, he really kind of stopped trying with Hidden Fates. He's bought more recently, but like he didn't really hunt.
yeah.
I've opened up a total of 650 packs and have only opened one on pack
Oh,
379.
jeez. I pre-ordered two
I
cases
love
of
this Charizard.
ETBs from GameStop, like 12 of the Master Ball collections, Great Ball collections. Um, but I sold everything. Well, the two Charizards came from the Master Ball collections or the Great Ball Ultra Ball collections. But
Mine came from a random Charizard tin at Walmart.
I,
Like
dude,
it was after all of the Rayquaza boxes dropped. They just restocked the tins. We grabbed a couple and it
yeah,
was
I
in
never
there.
bought any of those. I've got 3 cases of tins now, and I have 4 ETBs left from those 2 cases.
I've opened like 40 of the pin boxes. I opened up over 20 of the tins, something like 10 of the Master Ball Great Balls, if not more. A lot of the tins.
What
I
I'm
opened up
pissed
7 of
about
those Rayquaza boxes.
this second wave of, or the second or this first reprint, I guess, second wave of Hidden Fates. I
Mm-hmm.
had ordered 10 cases of tins through my guy, and he had to ship them to me because they all got, like, the distributor sent them to his store,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him only to send me 3 because I didn't want to pay for the shipping. So I definitely regret not taking all 10 because, like, he sold out of
Yeah, dude, in like
all of those
6
so quick.
months, where's the spike of Hidden Fates coming from? This is like almost unprecedented for Modern to just shoot up this high.
Yeah, it's incredible. The graded cards are nuts. The ETBs were selling. I sold a couple for 200
You've got
bucks.
any sealed you want to sell me at retail?
Now I'm gonna sit on these for a while, I think.
Of course you are.
However, I was looking to buy some Shining Legends ETBs, but I've seen those spiked up in price as well.
Yeah, I think people are starting to supplement their shiny pulls with Shining Legends. Like, you know what? If I can't pull the shinies in Hidden Fates, I'll just buy Shining Legends.
Yeah, so
That was kind of dead for a bit.
I just bought out the stores of or like TCG Player and whatnot of the Mewtwo Secret Rare, the Lab Mewtwo. I just did that before
I
we
ended up
started.
pulling one of those. I kind of regret selling it, but it's a great card.
Yeah, I just bought like 20 of them, I think. So I've never owned one. I'm looking forward to getting one of
You want to
these.
know what's cool though? I actually was credited by Arita, like Mitsuhiro Arita, on his Instagram. So after the Mewtwo, he drew all the tag teams for the basic GXs, and in the Unified Minds, Mewtwo and Mew are there breaking out of the test tube, and I made a public post saying Mitsuhiro Arita is a genius. He put Mewtwo in a test tube, and then the next time he draws him, he's breaking out of that test tube. He commented on that and said, "You are the first person to ever notice this."
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like really proud of that.
I've DM'd him asking for to buy some of his artwork that he posts, and he's never
Mm.
responded.
I have never gotten a personal DM. Actually, I might have had a couple like back and forth because I remember I bought one of my like for Christmas one year I asked for this raw Arita signature Charmeleon, one of the secret rare from EX Dragon.
Mhm.
And while I'm not a professional, I have taken a course in forensics, and part of that was signature authentication.
Oh,
So I'm able to look at consistencies. I can tell when a signature is real and not.
hmm
So like when there's a couple fake Sugimoris that Swole keeps talking about. There's a couple fake Aritas as well. When he posted them, I independently looked and independently confirmed that yeah, those were
okay.
those are fakes. Like when I looked for that Arita, I checked myself since it was raw. This is real. And when I shared it, he liked it and was like, "Hey, I'm glad you found one of my cards." So like, yeah, I
Oh,
could tell it's real.
nice.
I just sent you the post Last time we saw him in a test tube, now he's broken out. Arita doesn't forget, and Arita comments, "You are the first one who mentioned it."
You were the first one who mentioned it. Wow. That's hard to tell that he is breaking out. I mean, you can see the glass in the water, but yeah. Yeah, I never would have noticed that.
I don't know. I was pretty happy that like he himself confirmed that's what it was. So like you can also see in the background under tag team that same Mewtwo T-pose screen going off.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right, what else you got to go on? Any other questions you got? Anything else to talk about?
Well,
any other topics?
We just kind of hit the hour marker, which is usually where I stop. I don't know if people like to listen much longer, but what else was I looking at? Hopefully, I didn't show the chart. I'll have to make sure I didn't show the.
I removed it. Don't worry.
Okay. Show the card that you bought, but nice. Yeah, you're way ahead of the game on that. No, I don't know. I don't really have much else. I'm out of practice with this stuff. I'm actually surprised we were able to go this long. So I'm
like I told you, man, I don't shut up.
It was very helpful for my first podcast to come back to. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, hey man, I'm more than happy to come back anytime. I've got a lot of opinions. I always have things to talk about. I'm very passionate about this hobby.
Awesome. Well, I enjoyed meeting you for the first time and talking with you. I think you should reconsider setting that Master Scroll in for a review.
I've gone back and forth on it. It's just I don't know. It's also one of those things
if it gets that pristine, just throw it the PWCC's vault or something, so you don't have to touch it.
And then and then also at that same time, I don't know. I'd want to get it insured in the package, which is going to cost a lot of money, and then I gotta worry about it getting there, because like all the high-end cards I have, I bought a long time ago by selling to fund. I couldn't afford to replace it if I lost it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wait for this global pandemic to go away, and
that too, because like I got it back early March or late February.
Okay.
So basically, as soon as I got it, the lockdown also happened. So like I didn't have a choice but to wait.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've shipped some stuff that has been lost or delayed longer than it should be. So it's a scary time to be dealing in this stuff, even though it's the best time to be doing it. So
yeah, it's a weird catch-22.
Yeah.
It's the best market we've had, but it's also the worst shipping arena that we've had.
Absolutely. Stay away from international sales at the moment. That's my advice for today. But
unfortunately, that's where my my purchase is coming from. It's overseas, so it's gonna take a while.
Yeah. Well, best of luck on that. Looking forward to seeing it. Looking forward to.
I paid goods and services, so I'm covered if anything happens.
Good. That's good. That's smart.
Yeah.
I'm glad, or I'm shocked that someone would do that internationally.
I mean, so like the Espeon that I mentioned, I didn't pay goods and services because it was under $100 that I bought it for. I'll disclose that. So I wasn't too worried about it. The guy refunded me half of what I paid and then ghosted. So when I went to PayPal, they said right now their phone wasn't even open. It was only a text chat resolution center.
Right.
So I messaged them, got a message back like 12 hours later, and they're like, "Yep, sorry, nothing we can do." And I was like, "Are you sure?" Because he's saying he'll pay me, and he hasn't. "Yep, sorry, tough shit. You didn't use goods and services. You should learn next time."
Well, yeah.
Fucking all right.
I mean, that's their business. If they don't get goods and services, they don't make any money, so they don't care.
Yeah, I can't be too upset with them because like everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like that was a week or two ago. So now that I bought this thing, I'm like, nope, this time, if anything goes sideways, I want my money back.
Yeah.
Because I dropped a lot.
Yeah, that's good. Well, congrats. Can't wait to see that, man. Again, I appreciate you hopping on the podcast in such short notice here.
Dude, I'll come back anytime you want me. I'll I'll make time. We'll make it work. This is a lot of fun.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. Make sure you guys follow. I think your name's a little bit different. The Mega Guru, the underscore.
Yep, that is
Mega
shortened because
underscore
evolution is a
Guru.
long thing to type in.
That it is. So yeah, follow him on Instagram. He's got some videos on YouTube as well. Check out the Master Scroll.
You know what I
video.
just realized? That you asked me at the start of this podcast that I didn't answer.
What?
Where I got my name.
Yes.
So at the end of the podcast, if you stuck around, you get the answer. So after I pulled the Mega Rayquaza, I was only interested in collecting Mega Evolution cards.
Wow.
So this was a 2-part way that I got my name. So when I started talking to my buddies at formerly known as the Pokemon Evolutionaries, I was like, yeah, well, those are evolutions, but this is Mega Evolution. And in the game, the guy you talk to in X and Y to learn evolutions is called the TheMegaEvolutionGuru. So it was a piggyback of going off of him and kind of stealing the name idea from my buddy Professor K.
Right. Very good. And it ended up
That's
just being.
how I got my name.
And it just ended up being the exact name from the guy in the Pokemon game.
Yep. And this picture came from a deck box that I still own that I keep all my card sleeves in.
Oh.
I originally took a picture of the deck box and then I went online, took the photo scan, and used it as my own.
Pretty cool. Yeah. I've stuck with my logo this whole time, though it has been reworked.
This has always been mine. It just changed from a better quality from the photo scan.
Nice. Well,
that's me, though. Let's end off on that.
That's the Mega Evolution Guru. Go give this guy a follow. He's got some cool cards to look at. So thanks again, man. And everyone,
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully post a podcast the following week when this one's posted. But we'll see. All right.
All right, buddy. This was fun.